As the Days of Our Lives promo trailer for the week of May 25th to May 29th comes to a close, the camera slowly and deliberately pans back to a hauntingly familiar sight. A chessboard. Brady Black is sitting there, deeply engrossed in the game, the shadows of the room perfectly reflecting the dark, looming tension hovering over Salem right now. Peacock TV spoilers. We've been tracking this for weeks, and we all know that whenever a chessboard prominently appears in this town, it is never just a casual game of strategy. It is a terrifying metaphor for the manipulation, betrayal, and destruction about to rain down on our favorite characters. Belle Black walks into the frame, her eyes scanning the board before she utters a line that sent absolute chills down my spine. She looks at her brother and says, "There is still one piece missing, and you won't believe what happens next." She realizes the missing piece is a pawn, and the atmosphere in the room completely shifts. Let's be real for a second. A pawn is technically the most expendable piece on the board, yet it is the only piece that can cross the entire battlefield and transform into a queen with absolute power. When Belle Black points out this missing pawn, Brady Black looks at her with an expression of pure, unadulterated dread. It is a disturbing epiphany. You can practically see the gears turning in Brady Black's head as he realizes that someone in Salem is being played, manipulated, and sacrificed for a much larger, sinister endgame. This instantly transports me back to the golden era of Days of Our Lives, specifically the legacy storylines from 5 to 10 years ago involving the ultimate chess master himself, Stefano DiMera. Stefano used to sit in his sprawling mansion, moving literal chess pieces that represented the lives of the Bradys, the Hortons, and the Kiriakis family. Is someone picking up Stefano's dark mantle? Is E.J. DiMera utilizing his father's psychological warfare tactics while simultaneously hiding his Italian rehab secrets with Cat Green? We need to dive deep into Brady Black's current psychological state to understand why this realization hits him so incredibly hard. Brady Black has a massive hero complex. We have seen him stepping up recently to protect Sarah Horton from the chaotic fallout of Amy Choi's vengeful home invasion. Brady Black desperately wants to be the White Knight, the man who saves the day and protects his fragile family. But here's the kicker. Brady Black is suddenly realizing that while he has been focused on playing the immediate hero, a much larger, invisible enemy has been setting up a checkmate right under his nose. That look of disturbing epiphany on his face is the devastating realization of his own blindness. He thought he was a player in the game, but what if he is just another pawn? The sheer terror in his eyes is a masterclass in subtle acting, and it perfectly sets the stage for a massive summer mystery that will keep us all on the edge of our seats. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, could prepare us for the final, gut-wrenching scene that closes out the promo trailer. The camera cuts away from the tension of the chessboard to a heartbreakingly quiet, intimate close-up of John Black's grave. The tombstone is adorned with fresh, beautiful flowers, a stark and painful contrast to the cold, hard reality of death. And there, sitting on the cold ground, completely shattered and vulnerable, is Marlena Evans. She is just staring at the tombstone, lost in a sea of memories. Can you believe it? It has already been a year. Next week marks the 1-year anniversary of John Black's tragic passing, and the emotional weight of this milestone is going to crush everyone in Salem. And frankly, it is going to crush all of us watching at home. Marlena Evans has been the emotional anchor for Salem for decades. She is the resident psychiatrist, the brilliant woman everyone turns to when their lives are falling apart. Just recently, we saw Kat Green appealing to Marlena Evans to sabotage E.J. DiMera's hypnosis. Marlena Evans is always taking care of everyone else's psychological baggage. But in this quiet, devastating moment at the graveyard, the doctor is off the clock. She is just a grieving widow, mourning the epic, legendary love of her life. The history between John Black and Marlena Evans is the absolute bedrock of Days of Our Lives. From the demonic possession storylines to the countless times they fought their way back to each other across decades of kidnappings, brainwashings, and memory wipes, their love was supposed to be invincible. Seeing Marlena Evans sitting in the dirt, entirely stripped of her usual composed elegance, is a devastating visual representation of profound loss. Amazing. The cinematography in this single shot conveys more emotion than 1,000 pages of dialogue ever could. Now, it is time for the hot take section. And I know this is going to ruffle some serious feathers in the fandom, but I have to speak my truth. There are rampant rumors and whispers circulating online about whether the executives at Days of Our Lives are looking to recast the character of John Black. I personally believe this would be the most catastrophic, unforgivable mistake in the history of daytime television. Period. If you ask me, this is a huge mistake, because Drake Hogestyn did not just play John Black, he literally was John Black. He infused that character with a specific brand of stoic heroism, deep vulnerability, and an undeniable magnetic chemistry with Deidre Hall that simply cannot be replicated by another actor. I will passionately defend the legacy of Drake Hogestyn until my dying breath, and I will ruthlessly criticize any network executive who thinks they can just slap a new face on this iconic role and expect the audience to accept it. Some characters are simply too sacred to touch. Let John Black rest in peace, and let Marlena Evans's grief be a beautiful, untarnished tribute to the man we all love so fiercely. So, how does the missing pawn on Brady Black's chessboard connect to the 1-year anniversary of John Black's death? This is where the predictive lore gets incredibly juicy. Based on the show's internal logic, I theorize that the missing pawn represents a dark secret from John Black's past that is about to resurface and blow Salem wide open. We know that John Black's history is deeply entangled with the ISA, dangerous mercenaries, and shadowy underground organizations. What if the missing pawn is a person, an illegitimate child, a former ISA operative, or a forgotten enemy who has been waiting exactly 1 year to make their move against the Black family? With Lexi Carver miraculously returning from the dead and plunging Abe Carver and Paulina Price into absolute chaos, the veil between life and death in Salem is currently paper thin. The DiMera resurrection technology is clearly active again. Could the missing pawn be someone we thought was dead, manipulated by a new overarching villain to target Marlena Evans while she is at her absolute most vulnerable? Let's dig even deeper into this theory, because the connections are everywhere. We have to look at the current landscape of Salem to identify who might be orchestrating this grand game. Gabby Hernandez is currently moving her belongings out of the Kiriakis mansion after Philip Kiriakis firmly kicked her to the curb for her corporate lies. Gabby Hernandez is furious, humiliated, and dangerous. Could she be aligning with a darker force to become a pawn in a larger revenge scheme against the Kiriakis and Black families? Or perhaps the massive threat is coming from within the DiMera walls. E.J. DiMera is playing a very dangerous game of secrets with Cat Green. And Kristen DiMera is utilizing her toxic intimacy with Xander Kiriakis to order a lethal hit on Johnny DiMera. The entire town is a ticking powder keg of betrayal and hidden agendas. The missing pawn on Brady Black's board isn't just a piece of carved wood. It is a terrifying warning shot. It signifies that the illusion of safety in Salem is officially over. The players are in position, the board is set, and the sacrifices are about to begin. And let's not forget the emotional parallel between Marlena Evans's profound grief and the current state of the younger generation. As Marlena Evans sits by John Black's grave, we have young Holly Jonas grappling with a complicated relief and survivor's guilt over the presumed death of her cyberbully, Sophia Choi. We have Chanel Dupree DiMera hiding her terrifying breast cancer biopsy fears from her mother, Paulina Price, to protect her fragile heart. The theme of this upcoming week is clearly about the incredibly heavy burdens we carry for the people we love. Brady Black is carrying the burden of protecting Sarah Horton. Marlena Evans is carrying the crushing weight of a love that transcended time itself. That missing pawn is the ultimate trigger that will force all these hidden fears and silent griefs out into the open. It is going to be a week of reckoning, a week of endless tears, and a week that will fundamentally alter the trajectory of days of our lives for the rest of the year. That's crazy. The chessboard is officially set. The tears are already falling, and Salem is bracing for an absolute emotional hurricane. The one-year anniversary of John Black's death is going to test the resilience of Marlena Evans and the entire Black family like never before. And that missing pawn is a brilliant mystery.